The Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport and the Johannesburg Roads Agency have terminated their working relationship through which the road agency repairs the maintenance traffic signals and on behalf of the province. One of the reasons cited for this is that the Johannesburg Roads Agency's tax affairs were not in order. What's the way forward now for the 231 intersections that will be affected? Gauteng Public Transport and Road Infrastructure MEC Jacob Mamabolo joins me now to talk more on this. MEC, good evening. Good to have you with us tonight here on In Focus. After March negotiation, I mean, the SLA initially expired in 2020, I think around August or so. So it's been a back and forth between yourself and the city and the agency in particular on the possibility of a continuation of a relationship. But you have now, according to the MMC, amicably agreed to part ways. How severe is this tax situation that would lead to you parting ways?
Well, firstly, good evening to you and to all the viewers. I also want to thank you very much for inviting us. Let me just confirm to the viewers that yes, indeed, we have agreed with the city of Johannesburg that we will better service the residents of the city of Joburg if the provincial government maintains the traffic signals, and so do the city of Joburg separately. Because if the city of Joburg is our service provider, it means we have to pay them. And if they owe the South African Revenue Services money, SARS, they've got outstanding monies with SARS, it means the account is blocked. So we can't process the payments. As a result, they can't provide the service. So that is why we felt that, and I must say we took into account the results or the report of the Gauteng Household Travel Survey, which indicate that in the city of Johannesburg, people used to leave their homes in the morning for work or different trips at 7 o'clock. Now they had to add an hour and leave at 6 because of congestion. You can imagine if the traffic lights, most of them are not being serviced. So as the province, we then felt it will be in the interest of the economy, of mobility on the roads, of the road users, if we can then now maintain traffic lights, because the city of Joburg, we can't pay them, the account is blocked. And remember, Thabo, the roads that we are responsible for, in terms of traffic signals, they are the major connecting roads to the high-capacity roads, such as N1, the N12, the bigger roads that are responsible for the economy. So if the city of Joburg has not sorted out its taxes with the South African Revenue, they can't give us a service. This will have a far huge impact on the economy, on mobility, and on congestion, and that will not be good. And that's why the province, we said to the city, go and resolve your issues with SARS, but in the meantime, allow us to proceed. And that's how it was an amicable decision.
Yeah. The city is of the view, though, that even though the SLA had expired in 2020, they've been continuing to provide services while the negotiations were ongoing. So you're saying that service that they're saying they were providing during this period has been inadequate?
No, it's not about that. Remember, we can't pay once the account is blocked. It is as simple as that. And the issue here is also not so much about, not having confidence in the city's capacity to service. I think they've been doing a good job, although they've got a huge number of traffic lights compared to us. But the issue here is very simple, is your account is blocked. We can't therefore pay you, including the historic debts. So because the debt, we have to pay it now. So as long as they owe SARS money, that account has been, we can't defy SARS and pay them when their books are not in good standing. So the simple point I'm making is that I think for the purpose of the residents and the the viewers, the good thing that has happened is we have all understood. Let the province service maintain traffic lights while the city of Johannesburg deals with the matters relating to SARS. It is essentially about the fact that we can't pay them and they can provide us a service.
Is this termination of the SLA likely to create chaos? I mean, we already are talking of a maintenance regime that is strained with a number of traffic lights in those particular areas which you point to, William Nicol, Malibongwe, Bears Nodir, Cedar Road, such places having massive issues with malfunctioning traffic lights at this particular point. How is this going to impact on that already strained maintenance regime?
So I think the good thing that has happened, and the reason why the province appealed to the city to let go in the light of the challenge they have, is that for us to service the traffic lights, the city needs to give us certain devices and equipment which they hold in order to access and service the traffic lights. So the technical handover, which now allow us to start, has happened. So last week, the city finally gave us everything we need. There was supposed to be, what is outstanding now is just a closeout report. So now at least we are ready with our capacity to maintain. So on our side, there are no issues. All we needed was a technical handover. And I can tell you that we are going to start now that we have been given the access tools that we needed. We will start servicing this. And I'm quite sure that the residents very soon will see that the provincial roads as traffic lights are being attended to. And whilst I'm saying that, many people, when they drive on the roads, they don't have to be worried about whose traffic signal is this. Mobility is seamless. They don't have to be worried about whose road is this, whose pothole is this. What we will do is, whilst we will maintain our 200 plus traffic lights, we will still engage with the city of Johannesburg to make sure that all traffic lights are working efficiently, properly, and when they are reported, the turnaround times are adhered to. So the only thing that was holding our back was we need a technical handover. That happened last week, and that's good for us because we've been having capacity that we mobilized but couldn't start working because there was no technical handover. So from now, I'm quite sure that there shouldn't be a problem because we have concluded the handover process. And the ball now, I mean, the process of fixing them is now in our hands. And let me assure the road users that as a province, we will maintain our traffic signals and there shouldn't be any impact. But we also are interested in the city's capacity to fix its own traffic lights because mobility is seamless. People shouldn't be worried about this or about our traffic lights.
Speaking of seamless mobility, we'll come back to that, MEC, and the promise you made 12 months ago to the people of the province around road infrastructure, and whether or not that inspires any confidence, particularly around what you are now promising today on the question of traffic lights. Gauteng Public Transport and Road Infrastructure MEC, Jacob Mamabolo, stayed with us. Welcome back. You're on In Focus. We're still with Gauteng Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure MEC Jacob Mamabolo. He's, of course, explaining further what the parting of ways with the JRA actually means and how this will impact the delivery of services going forward. MEC, 12 months ago, actually, strange enough, it was on this very same month during this particular week, 12 months ago, where you assured motorists that they will be driving on smooth roads within 6 months. This is what you said. You said, one of the things we are changing with smart mobility weekends is a sustained, uninterrupted, continuous program of maintenance. Well, it's 12 months later. If you ask motorists, I'm telling you, they'll tell you they're not driving on smooth roads. In fact, many are replacing tires daily.
Well, let me say to you that in April 2021, we initiated what we call Smart Mobility Weekends, which is a program where we work Saturday, Sundays to fix and patch potholes, partnering with municipalities. Because out of COVID-19, we understood that there have been backlogs in municipalities, and that has been confirmed by our experience. Even now, we are still doing Smart Mobility Weekends. Just last week, we were in Mfuleni. So that program is continuing. But the question of, so there's no doubt about the fact that the partnership between municipalities and the provincial government to fix and maintain the roads, that program is going on very well. In the city of Joburg in particular, they have added another program where we have seen the partnership between the private sector and the city of Joburg. The new MMC has just a few weeks ago launched a program again to deal with the road maintenance. So the point I'm making is our roads, and given where we're coming from, with the backlogs that we had, could have been extremely worse. And if we compare with the work that we are doing and the effort that is out there to maintain and fix the roads, I'm quite sure that the situation would have been extremely worse if we didn't have this effort. So to that extent, I think on the positive side is that it's all hands on deck. You can clearly see, and I think the private sector partnership in the city of Joburg have published results of how much space, how much work they have done. And I think it doesn't mean that the challenges are zero. The challenges are still there. We're facing heavy rains. We're facing new climatic conditions. And the severity of the rains changes every year, every period. So to that extent, I think what is comforting is that the city of Joburg, if I were to give the example of the city, has really tripled its effort, and the partnership with us is it's working, and we're doing our best. Just in Mfuleni, we rehabilitated 21 roads, which we concluded and launched and unveiled in November. We are now going to be doing new 32 roads rehabilitated in Mfuleni. Does that mean we have solved all the problems? Not really, but I think there's good work that has been done. If Smart Mobility Weekends were not happening every weekend, you can imagine the backlogs that would have came with the lockdowns and COVID-19 lockdowns. The roads will be worse in the province. And I think we have done our best, but it doesn't mean we have solved every single small problem, even severe weather conditions.
What I'm leading to with that question is, of course, when people look at that, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence to say you are now taking even more onto your plate when you already have the smart mobility program that has not delivered in the 6 months as much of ground that you would have hoped it would when you first launched it.
Yes, maybe let's agree that we still have challenges, and I've made that point that even this weekend, when you look at what's going on this weekend, the roads will definitely be damaged. But the work we have already done since April last year has made a huge difference, and we are going to release a report very soon about that. We have commissioned CSIR to do that report for us so that it can be released by a credible and a reputable institution to give the facts of how much ground did we cover and what impact did it make. There's a report that's coming on that. So second to that is the issue of the traffic signals that we are aiding both ourselves as a province and the municipalities, because remember, even the potholes are both on the provincial and municipal roads. So even in this case, the fact that with the city of Joburg, we have parted our ways with respect to the signals doesn't mean that we will not be able to work together to address this issue. And I can assure you as a province, we will be able to make sure that we attend to the 200 and plus traffic lights that we have. The city of Joburg, has got more than 1,000 plus traffic signals to address. So I can say to you that the residents will be rest assured that in the same capacity, momentum, effort, and hard work we have invested in the smart mobility weekends, that's the investment we'll make in dealing with the roads.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? The MMC is indicating that in your deliberations, you said you've already signed an agreement with a service provider, maybe late last year, that's going to take care of the traffic signals. How was that process done?
It meant going into procurement process. So when we saw that the city of Joburg is not going to be able to help us, the account is blocked, we can't pay them, we then commissioned a procurement process. And we had to appoint a service provider to help us maintain our traffic signals. And that process was completed. The service provider is ready. Actually, I've already worked with them in some parts of the province where they were installing traffic signals. And what they were waiting for was just for the city of Joburg to hand over everything that was required for us to now start. So that's why I'm saying to you, we are not going to start going out on tender. The service provider appointed, done, because we're able to anticipate that the city will not be able to solve its problem with SARS soon. That issue is still not resolved, but at least on our side, we are taking over. The capacity issues are dealt with. We have procured a service provider, and the service provider has started working, dealing with these matters, including in other parts of the province. So to that extent, we are ready to start working. All we needed was a handover process. So the service provider will continue with that work, whilst we and our officials continue with the work of smart mobility over the weekends, working with the cities. So there's no extra additional scope. There is a specific service provider appointed to deal with that. It's not an extra workload on our smart mobility work that we do every Saturday, Sunday to cope with the massive backlog of COVID-19 lockdowns, which I must say, we believe that the work we have done has brought massive relief, because things could have been worse if we didn't initiate this work on Saturdays and Sunday to catch up with the backlogs that are there.
Now, speaking of the work of the service provider, I know earlier on you mentioned that, of course, people should not worry who's maintaining what road and so forth, which one is provincial and so forth. I tell you that people will worry. If traffic light is not working, people would need to know where they are going to report the traffic light that is not working. So what is the process of setting up a place, of sending a complaint of a traffic light that is not working on roads which are considered provincial roads? And at what point are you going to be informing the public which is a provincial road, and therefore that responsibility falls with you in terms of fixing that traffic light if it malfunctions?
So one of the things that we're going to announce to the residents of the province is just a communication platform where they can send, notices if there are any that they'll want to send us about traffic lights that may not be working. Remember that traffic lights, you fix it today, and tomorrow there are people who, steal cables, the issue of cable theft, and taking out the wires and all that. So we will have a mechanism that we will announce where people can then communicate with us in the interim, because one of the things that I had already announced was that we are finalizing the introduction of a pothole app for the whole province, in which people can be able to report different things on the road, because currently in the program of Smart Mobility Weekends, we rely on reports from councillors. We don't have a broad public participation process where they say to us, these are our priority roads. So whilst we are finalizing the app, and whilst we are doing the resolving this issue of us taking over the function and starting to fix it, we will publish, like we did with Request a Slot, where we gave the public platforms to access booking of slots. So we are going to announce that after the Easter period, and we will say, this is where you can report our 200+ signals if you discover that it's not working. So communication to the public will be issued, in which we will then say, please report here. But once CSIR is done with the app, it will be very much easy to report priority road maintenance, whether it's potholes, grass cutting, vegetation, traffic signals, road markings, all those. We are building a platform of people participating and engaging us to fix those issues, because we have tested our capacity, relationship with municipalities, and we think we can be able to say to the people, report to us, unlike relying on councillor, on reports which do not necessarily come directly from the road users themselves.
So in the meantime, where do people report while we wait for the app? I mean, I'm sure the city is going to say it's not our responsibility, go speak to province. Where do they go?
That is what I said, Thabo, that now that the city has just handed over last week on Friday, we will announce the platform of the province where you can report, and I'll check with our teams. You might find that we can also announce that platform this week. We can announce it early next week, but it's quite urgent that people be able to say to us, please attend to this one and that one. So that we will announce this week or next week. We will issue a public statement as a province to say, now that we have taken over, if you see any traffic light, report. And it shouldn't matter really, whether it's province or city, we will still say to the city, here are the number of traffic signals that you should fix, have been reported on our platform in the interim. So people can report on that platform. We will announce it maybe this week or early next week. But we understand the matter is extremely urgent.
So let me see, before I let you go, I mean, you touch on the fact of traffic lights that are frequently breaking down or needing to be maintained. I don't remember when, but I seem to recall having a conversation with you around the implementation of new technology when it comes to traffic signaling or smart traffic lights or something to that effect. Are there smart traffic lights that are in existence in the province at the moment? How far is that program going?
Well, let me say to you that one of the issues that the service provider has indicated when I was speaking to them, when we were doing work, as I said, they've started working. One of the issues I raised was, shouldn't there be in the market engineering, give us better solutions to prevent the challenges that we are seeing, smart technologies and solutions. And they did say that they will report back to us about using alternative technologies to deal with the issue of particularly cable theft and just destruction of public property, including traffic lights. So those are the issues that we look into, but I'm quite sure that in the market there should be better solutions, and the service provider we have, part of the reason we have them is precisely to help us introduce innovation technology so that we don't continue to work like we're still in the Stone Age. We need to leverage best technological solutions in the market, and those are some of the issues we'll be looking at.
ABC, I appreciate your time as always. Much appreciated. Thanks for coming on tonight. That is the Gauteng Public Transport and Road Infrastructure MEC, Jacob Mamabolo. We continue